A 21-year-old Austrian man has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for planning a jihadist attack on a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna during the US singer's Eras tour in August 2024. The man, named only as Beran A, in line with Austrian privacy laws, was also found guilty of a string of other terrorism-related offences.
Blue Origin's New Glenn mega rocket just exploded during testing at a launch site in Cape Canaveral, Florida, according to live streams from NASAspaceflight.com and Spaceflight Now. Blue Origin later confirmed the explosion. Jeff Bezos' space company was performing a static fire test ahead of an anticipated fourth launch of the new rocket in the coming weeks, which was supposed to carry Amazon Leo Internet satellites to space. Blue Origin said in an ex-post Thursday evening that personnel have been accounted for. The company didn't say what went wrong, only that an anomaly occurred. The United States has announced its intention to designate 2 Brazilian gangs as terrorist organizations, continuing a push under President Donald Trump to blur the distinction between criminal and terrorist activity. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Thursday that the designations would target the Primeiro Comando da Capital, PCC, and the Comando Vermelho, the 2 largest criminal networks in Brazil. Waymo has nearly 600 autonomous vehicles registered in Texas, a figure that far outpaces emerging competitors Avreed, Nuro, Tesla and Zoox, according to data available in a new website launched by the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. The automated vehicle tracker tool, part of a new law that requires AV companies to register with the DMV, gives the public the first accurate and easy-to-access accounting of how many autonomous vehicles are in Texas. The state law, which went into effect May 28, requires companies testing or deploying AVs in the state to share how many vehicles are in their fleets, as well as other safety information.
Glean, a company often described as the Google for enterprise, said it has reached $300 million in annual recurring revenue, a threefold increase from the $100 million milestone it reached just 15 months ago. While many AI startups are growing at a blistering pace, Glean's progress is particularly remarkable. After years of essentially being the only player in the category, the 7-year-old startup is accelerating its growth as tech giants enter the enterprise AI search market with rival products. Protesters have returned to the Delaney Hall Immigrant Detention Center in the United States, a site that has become one of many flashpoints in President Donald Trump's push for mass deportation. The center, located outside Newark, New Jersey, has long been controversial. Iran's football team still lacks US visas and is not competing in the World Cup on equal terms because of its difficulty in training ahead of the tournament. Tehran's ambassador to Mexico said on Thursday Abulfazl Pasandideh visited the northwestern Mexican border city of Tijuana, where Iranians have relocated their training camp. They were originally planned to be based in Tucson in the US state of Arizona.
The international football friendly between the Republic of Ireland and Qatar in Dublin was twice halted by home fan protests against their side's upcoming fixtures against Israel. The Irish are due to face Israel twice in the UEFA Nations League competition, but have faced strong backlash against the fixtures, with calls for the games to be boycotted.
Europe's Premier Club competition concludes on Saturday when the final of the UEFA Champions League is played. From qualifying to a comprehensive league phase and then the drama of the knockouts, the tournament now comes down to 2 teams.
Every year, I read through thousands of startup Battlefield applications, and every year I see the same pattern. The founders who belong on this stage are often the ones who almost didn't apply. They think they're too early. They think they need more traction. They think the program is for companies further along than they are. Negotiators for the US and Iran have agreed a framework of a deal that would extend their ceasefire for 60 days and launch negotiations on the future of Iran's nuclear program, US officials say. The agreement is yet to be approved by President Donald Trump or the leadership in Iran, the officials told the BBC.
United States judge has declined to immediately block President Donald Trump's executive order tightening rules on mail-in voting. But the judge, Carl Nichols in the District of Columbia, has left open the possibility for Democrats to challenge the measure again as the administration moves to implement it. The Guatemalan government has denied reports that it agreed to allow the United States to carry out strikes against drug traffickers in the Central American country, while confirming that it has sought security cooperation with Washington. There is no agreement authorizing foreign military operations by any country within national territory, the government of President Bernardo Arevalo said in a statement on Thursday. Cloud infrastructure has long been designed around humans who search, click, scroll, and stream in a steady and predictable fashion. AI agents behave differently. They can unleash a swell of activity, spinning up multiple sub-agents that query hundreds of databases, search documents, and call APIs in seconds, and then disappear as quickly as they arrived. Under that premise, Amazon is redesigning a core piece of its cloud infrastructure. On Thursday, AWS launched its next generation of OpenSearch Serverless, a fully managed search and vector database, essentially a system for storing and retrieving information at scale that's designed specifically for agentic workloads. AWS says the new system can instantly scale up when agents trigger tasks and scale back down to zero when idle.
An Austrian court on Thursday sentenced a 21-year-old who admitted planning a foiled Islamist attack on a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna in 2024 to 15 years in prison, finding him guilty of various mainly terrorism-related offences. Baron A., whose last name has not been made public in accordance with Austrian privacy rules, was arrested on August 7, 2024, the day before the first of 3 planned concerts by the US pop star in the Austrian capital.
A man stabbed and wounded 3 people in what authorities have described as an act of terror at a train station in the Swiss city of Winterthur. The attack took place shortly before 8:30 a.m., so 6 GMT, on Thursday. The suspect, who was arrested 5 minutes after emergency services were alerted, is a 31-year-old Swiss-Turkish dual national who lives in Winterthur, Regional Police Chief Marius Weiermann said.
The administration of United States President Donald Trump has filed lawsuits against 4 Democrat-leaning states for refusing to issue confidential license plates for vehicles carrying federal immigration agents. On Thursday, the Department of Justice announced the complaint on its website, accusing Maine, Massachusetts, Oregon and Washington of defying the federal government's demands. Kevin Federal.
The European Union has sanctioned 4 entities and 3 individuals it says are extremist Israeli settlers, responsible for serious human rights abuses against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. The EU said they had violated a range of rights, including the rights to physical and mental integrity, privacy and family life, freedom of religion and education.
Slate Auto, the electric vehicle startup backed by Jeff Bezos and LA Dodgers owner Mark Walter, will announce pricing and start taking non-refundable pre-orders for its low-cost electric vehicle on June 24, ahead of the first deliveries late this year. The company sent out emails to prospective buyers on Thursday that encouraged them to make a $50 reservation now ahead of the $300 pre-orders starting next month in order to get a delivery window before non-reservers.
US President Donald Trump could soon be featured on a new $250 bill, marking a break from nearly 150 years of American tradition that has kept the image of living people off US currency. The proposal, first reported by the Washington Post on Thursday, includes a design mock-up, America 250 Anniversary, commemorating the 256th of the United States anniversary of the United's independence on July 4, 1776.
The United Nations has issued a stark warning that global temperatures are likely to remain at or near record levels for the next 5 years. with an 86% chance that at least 1 year between 2026 and 2030 will surpass 2024 as the warmest year ever recorded, according to the World Meteorological Organization, WMO. The WMO announced on Thursday that global average temperatures are expected to continue at record-breaking levels, with the trend of extreme heat set to persist through 2030. All 11 hottest individual years ever recorded have occurred since 2015. And the UN Climate Agency says this pattern is poised to continue, with a new hottest ever year likely before 2031. Leon Hermansen, lead author of the WMO's Global Annual to Decadal Update, stated that an El Niño predicted for the end of 2026 increases the chances of the following year, 2027, being the next record-breaking year.
Canada has introduced stricter documentation requirements for digital nomads entering the country under a common work permit exemption, marking a significant shift from previous relaxed guidelines. Immigration officers have received updated instructions titled Temporary Residents, Digital Nomads, published on IRCC's website on May 26, 2026.
You may find some of the details of Messina Denaro's crimes disturbing. Anti-mafia investigators in Italy have seized cash, companies and other assets worth more than 200 metres, 175 metres, in an operation they say targeted the network of notorious late Sicilian mafia boss Matteo Messina Denaro.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has instructed the Israeli army to expand its control of the Gaza Strip to 70%. According to remarks aired by Israeli media. At this point, we are fully in control of 60% of the territory of the Gaza Strip, and my directive is to get to 70%. Netanyahu said in footage recorded by Channel 12 and aired on Thursday.
Foreign workers in South Africa are yet again facing violence and protests by anti-immigrant groups. They accuse them of residing and working in the country illegally and are demanding that they leave by June 30. South Africa has seen recurrent waves of anti-immigrant violence in the past decade, often directed at other African nationals.
Elon Musk's X lets you write long-form content on the platform through its articles feature, but only if you're a paid subscriber or business. The decentralized social networking startup Bluesky has a different idea. On Thursday, Bluesky rolled out a new version of its app that integrates with Standard.site, a community project for building long-form content on the same underlying protocol that powers Bluesky. Asana has acquired the workflow automation company Stack AI, the company announced on Thursday after market closed, part of a larger effort to position itself as an AI-native workplace platform. Stack AI's founders, Tony Rosenol and Bernard Achetuno, will join Asana as part of the acquisition. The company declined to share financial terms of the deal. Asana framed the acquisition as part of its broader AI pivot, in which it tries to transform its platform into the operating system for human agent teams.
Islamabad Traffic Police issued a special traffic advisory on Thursday for residents of Islamabad and Rawalpindi ahead of the Pakistan-Australia ODI series starting May 30, 24 News reported. A Tim Police spokesperson stated that temporaries at different times on Club Road, Murray Road, the Expressway and Srinagar Highway, which may disrupt normal traffic flow on these routes.
The interior Sindh city of Dadu hit 51.5 degrees Celsius on Thursday, setting a new high for the low-K-Shoal heat record as a severe heat wave continued to batter southern Pakistan. According to 24 News, the Pakistan Meteorological Department confirmed that Dadu's earlier peak of 51.4 degrees Celsius 16 was recorded on May 18, 2016. Officials noted that Thursday's reading was 4 point the typical May average for the city, above the
plan to launch this week a health facility in Kenya for Americans who may have been exposed to the Ebola virus has received widespread criticism from both Kenyan doctors and US officials working at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. The main doctors' union in Kenya and the Law Society of Kenya told CNN they oppose the plan, saying it risks importing Ebola into the East African nation, which has no cases as of Thursday.